Today discussion about the functions. So first of all, what is a function and why we are writing the functions? Listen, function is a block of instructions. Is a block of instructions. Any number of instructions you can place here. Function is a block of instructions. And function is used to perform a task. The task we define. So what is a task? It's anything. For example, adding two numbers. It's a task. Check even or not. It's a task. Check prime or not. It's a task. Print table is a task. Withdraw operation. It's a task. Deposit operation. It's a task. So all these are called functions. Every function executes a task with its logic, with the defined logic. And what is the main purpose of function is what? Right? Is for reusability. It's the same code instead of writing multiple times, we are placing everything inside the block, and whenever it is required, by that time only we are calling. Let me explain. Sir, I want to print three messages. Hi, hello, just welcome. Three messages I want to print three times. Three times I want to print. Is the first time, is the second time, and the third time. Here it is, this much code we have to write normally. This much code. Because I want to print three times. So we are writing this one. And sir, why you are writing the three times? Because already we have a looping concept. So loop I am repeating. For I in the range of 3, if you give 0 to 3 times, it will repeat. Nothing but 0, 1, 2. So same output will come. Is it 3 times it is printing? 3 times. This is also code reusability. No? Instead of writing 3 times, like 9 lines of code, here only 4 lines of code we have written. The function means is the same one. DEF keyword is a define. Any name you can use, any function name. Just for example, message I am writing. Message. Parenthesis, why parenthesis and all you will understand. That last statement is a return statement. As of now is optional, but better you write. Now the function will not execute automatically. This is function body. This function body executes only when you call message. Sir, one time you can call one time. Sir, second time I need. Second time you can call. It is like with controlling. With a controlling. How many times you call, those many times only it will execute. Those many times it will execute. Is a one. Is the same one. Suppose look at this. This calling, I'm writing in a loop. Try in the range of 5 I'm writing. Look at this, 5 times I'm calling. Now the 5 times will print. 5 times will print. So the point is what? What is a function? Function is a block of instructions. Block of instructions. This is function name. Why we have variable name? Just for calling. In the same way, this name is also for calling. Whenever you call, then that logic gets executed. And how you define the function? Using the keyword called def. Def. What is the advantage? Means here no controlling. 3 times directly it will execute. But here it is not like that. That function execute only when you call. If you call, then it will execute. If you call, then it will execute. Only based on the function call only it will execute. Okay, write this. We can define any number of functions in a single program. It's like define something like ABC. I'm just writing. This message is ABC. And next define like XYZ is a print XYZ. And once you define the functions, for example, PQR, the 3 functions I'm taking, and inside that any number of statements. And once you define the functions in any order, you can call. There is no rule that you have to call, you need to execute in that same order only. No. For example, if you see that ATM screen, on the ATM screen, what all the options available, nothing but all the buttons available called individual functions. Depends on our requirement, we can click on the button. Suppose it's a deposit operation, click on the deposit button. Is a withdraw operation, withdraw button. Mini statement is the button. By just click on that button, we start performing the transaction. So in the same way, once the function has been defined, you can call in any order. Suppose if I call XYZ, again I call XYZ. So 2 times XYZ only will print. I just call PQR. Again XYZ I call. Again ABC I call. So depends on the requirement, in the same order we call. Okay, do this. What is the purpose of this parenthesis now? So initially, so we have written some of the examples where parenthesis is empty. Parenthesis is used to pass input values. Suppose I want to perform addition operation. Define add is taking 2 numbers, AB. Inside that, it is printing and finding that some value is a C. Is a C. Now, whenever you are calling add, so directly you cannot call because it is expecting 2 input values. The 2 input values you have to pass. So 12, 30. Decimal values also you can pass because there is no data type specification in Python. Data type specification. Sir, here directly you have passed the values. I don't want to pass directly. I'm just asking enter 2 numbers and I'm taking. Sir, I'm taking float values now. Float of input. Look at this. Next one is a float of input. Means decimals will come. And I'm passing x comma y values. Sir, here a comma b value. Na? But why you are sending x and y? Please don't think that x and y are values. These are just variables. Inside the x, some value is there. Inside the y, some value is there. Suppose x value is a 2.3. Here, nothing but 2.3 will send. Y value suppose is a 4.5. The 2.3 will go and store into A. And 4.5 will go and store into this B. Just a general example. Suppose I'm asking, you have, so suppose you are the student, so I'm the trainer. I'm asking Give me your father phone number. Suppose that is my question. In your mobile, you have saved your father number as suppose dad number. Dad number contains some value now. Suppose value is there. Then you have sent that contact as it is to my mobile because I asked, please send your dad number. That same number, how I save in my place is a student father number. Is the same data only. Same data. So there is no confusion. Whenever you are sending the information, this is the variable that you have created. This is the variable that I have created. These are the variables created to hold the data. But in what way you are sending the data, using which variables you are sending the data, we don't need. Suppose here it is, suppose 2.3 is a 4.5 as output will come. This is what reading input and then calling the function. Calling the function. Here is anything. For example, sir, that function we are writing is even. You can write like this, or is even. You can write like this. Multiple things. Is a number. Checking that if is even, that number is divisible by 2. 2 is an even number. Else not even number. Not even number. The same we are calling is even. Passing that value is a 13. In the previous case, in add function, it is taking two numbers as input. But in this case, it is taking only one number as input because depends on our requirement. We need to send the input values. Okay, do this. Now here, so what is the purpose of return statement? Whenever we are printing, same first addition program I'm explaining, define add a comma b. So normally what we are doing here, after adding, we are printing here only that c value. But instead of printing that c, don't print there, just calculate there and give the return value back, return c. So now here it is a return statement is sending that value. That value you have to catch. Suppose add after passing that 12 comma 13, 12 comma 13, whatever the value it is returning, that you are collecting into one result variable, any variable. See, you can use the same variable also. Now here I'm printing that some value equals to that result we are printing. See how this code gets executed. Now we are passing input values. 12 and 13 will store into A and B. And next one, that returned value will come and store into this result. So suppose if I am not writing C, only just return I am writing, it will print none because it's not returning anything. It's not returning anything. Return values also required. Whenever you are calling, it has to return. Suppose this is the one. In the next case, so suppose same define is even is a number. If that number mod 2 equal to 0, it will return it is even. String it is returning. Else it is returning it is not even. Is a not even. Then whenever you are calling is even, when you are passing the 13, it's the same story. Just collecting that result and printing that result. Is printing that it is not even. So anything we can write in this format only. So suppose character I'm taking is a character. Now I'm passing completely. Define. Here it is or a type of character. Just a type of I'm writing. It is taking that character. Here it is if that character is in between, we already know that capital A to capital Z, it is returning uppercase alphabet. Else is returning between small a to small z. Small a to small z. Written is a lowercase alphabet. If it is in between 0 and 9, it is returning that it's a digit. It's a digit. Else it is returning that it's a symbol. It's a symbol. So when you are calling, sir, I want to read the character. Just input, enter character. So that you are passing that to the type of. It is returning the value now. That result you are collecting. Result you are collecting and printing that result. Result type is just result we are printing. Result is when you are giving that. For example, dollar. Type is simple. So return values means what? Whenever you are calling that function, after performing the operation, it is sending that result back from where you are calling. Just one normal example, I'll explain to understand clearly. Suppose this is ATM machine, and this is, we can call it as a client. But the program always run in the server machine. It is somewhere else. We always pass the input from the client. Then what server will do? It will receive the request. Then it will process. Then it will give the response. Returns that response. That client will collect that response and print that response. Nothing but from here you are calling and it is giving the response that you are collecting and printing. This is the way. Depends on our requirement. We have to select the type of the function. Okay, do this. Is a different types of functions are there. So one is a required arguments function. Second one is a default arguments function. Third one is a keyword arguments function. Is a fourth one is a variable arguments function is there. Required arguments means what? Is the same story. Suppose define, just a test I am writing ABC and just printing that ABC values directly. Whatever you are sending is printing. Simply test. I'm passing 1020 is a regular function only. We have already seen is giving that error. Missing one required positional argument is a C. Is missing because the values what you are sending will go and store into AB only, but for C value you didn't send. That is called required arguments. Must send values to all arguments. all arguments. This is a regular function. That second one is default arguments. Default arguments assign default values to arguments in function definition directly. Is nothing but, sir, here a equals to 10, b equals to 20, c equals to 30. Already I'm giving some values. So whenever you are calling, no need to pass any values. If you don't pass values, it will execute with the default values. No, sir, I will pass values. Suppose 15 I'm sending. Only that 15 will go and store into A. BC values are 20, 30. So suppose can we pass different variables? Yes, we can pass like this. Then all the three replace with these three, then it will print. Default values means what? Instead of sending the values from here, you can give the default values directly to execute. That is, okay, do this. For example, keyword arguments advantages. Suppose define data I'm taking. This function name is a data. Name and age I'm taking. Name and age variable suppose. Name and age. I want to print that name, comma, age. So when you are executing that, I'm sending that name, passing, and age we are passing. That Amar will go and store into that name and 23 will go and store into age is okay. Second time, suppose if I pass, first age I am passing, next one is a name I am passing. So what will happen? Name is 21, age is Annie is printing like this. So when we don't know the order, then instead of using this option, you can use like this. So first age is equals to 21. Next name equals to, like arguments names, you can use as a keywords to send the values. Keywords using arguments names as keywords to input values. Now observe this one. Here it is, name is a Annie and age is a 21. So, and what is the advantage of this one again? Keyword arguments, same. Default arguments we have seen. Define, suppose test A, B, C, D. I'm directly giving that A value 10, B value 20, C value 30, Z D value 40. Printing that A, B, C, D values. Sir, everything is the same. I just want to change only C value. You can't give that value directly. C value, I want to make it 35. 35. Normally, how you give A value, same. B value, same. C value now 35. D value 40. If you give that C value will change. Why like that? The keyword arguments advantage is what? Just C equals to 35. Then it will select only that particular value. That is the advantage of keyword. So normally, suppose if the circle is there, just consider there is one function, circle one function is there. So where it starts printing that circle, suppose x coordinates and y coordinates. Just generally I'm writing. And with the color is a default color is a black color. Default color is a black color with these colors and with the radius also. I'm just giving radius also with the 50 radius it is printing. 50 radius. I'm just clearly printing that black circle, nothing but color circle with the radius by this much, just R I am writing. With the radius R at location XY coordinates, X comma Y, I am writing like this. Okay now. Then I'm simply calling that circle without passing any values. So black circle with radius 50 at location 0, 0. No, sir. Whenever I want to give that circle, color I want to change. But sir, I forgot that color is in which location. So don't know, no problem. Color equals to red. Remaining everything is the same. Only that color will change. So for example, here it is a circle. I want to change the color, and I want to change that radius also. Is a radius also I want to change. That is when you miss the order. These situations will come in future whenever we are working with the predefined things, like working with the files. It's like working with the graphical user interface and all. We are following this keyword arguments one. Keyword arguments. Here are few examples of keyword arguments. Do this. Is it variable arguments means what? You can pass any number of values. Pass any number of arguments. Define. Suppose is a test. You are collecting as a list or array. Array. You're just printing that array. But remember, error is just a variable as of now. When you are calling, you can pass one number is okay, allowed. If you are not passing values, it is giving that error message. But look at this. Whenever you place star preceded by ARR, A103, right here, star is representing means what? Any. Now I'm not passing anything, so empty. So suppose if I pass three values, it can collect three values also. It can collect. It can collect. So when we don't know how many arguments we are passing based on different inputs, then we can use this option. Is for example, test. Right here it is a different types of arguments also. Like for example, is an age, is a name, is a salary, and is a gender. Anything we can pass at a time. All the values. Variable. Varying means what? Changing. The word varying means what? Changing. This one. Any number of arguments you can pass simply. Okay. Do this.